Thank you for joining us today. My name is Michael Wilkos, and I'm a Senior Impact Director here at United Way of Central Ohio. And I want to talk with you this afternoon about the work of United Way and how we are achieving vibrant neighborhoods throughout Columbus. I want to first start our conversation by examining a city to the north of Columbus, and that would be Cleveland, just 120 miles up Interstate 71. Cleveland, as you see from this map, shows where poverty was concentrated in 1970. There were several neighborhoods on the Near East side of the city, but within the city limits of Cleveland, in which the majority of that poverty was concentrated. And you can see that the poverty rate, which was about 10%, there were 168,000 people in Cuyahoga County living below the federal poverty line. But Cleveland and Columbus had very different experiences. And as the next diagram shows, Columbus, which has been a growing city, Cleveland, which has been shrinking, but they haven't been growing or shrinking with the same types of folks. And what you can see from this bar graph is that Columbus, indicated in the dark blue lines, indicates that the city of Columbus was adding population, but adding folks at every income band. Columbus was adding low-income residents, middle-class folks, and high-income earners. During that same period of time, from 1979 to 1999, Cleveland was losing population, but they were almost entirely losing the upper middle class. In the 1980s, international immigrants started to arrive in Columbus, and it really started to pick up steam in the 1990s. In fact, Franklin County has become the destination for international immigrants moving to the state, and the numbers look something like this. While we are about 11.5% of the state's population, approximately 41% of all international immigrants are choosing Franklin County as their home. This article appeared in the front page of the Columbus Dispatch shortly after the last census was taken. And it was an alarming revelation. Many of us knew that the community was changing, but we just didn't know in what ways. What was really interesting about this map is it showed not only the variety of folks who were coming to Columbus, because they were coming from Somalia and from countries in Asia and from countries throughout Central and Latin America, but they were located in very diverse regions. And in fact, based on a dissimilarity index, which is an index that tells you what the likelihood is that you live in a neighborhood where your neighbor may look different than you, changed dramatically in the 1990s. And we started to see these trends out on the city's periphery, out in areas along Morse Road, out along the Outer Belt. They weren't in the traditional neighborhoods like German Village or Italian Village or Hungarian Village, which don't really have Germans, Italians, and Hungarians living in them anymore. There are probably nearly 90 folks who come into our building every single month and help us develop strategies and performance measures and outcomes and come up with stuff that really works. And I want to acknowledge just the Safe Neighborhoods Committee. Some of the folks on that committee include the former gang leader of the Short North Posse, who spent 14 years in prison for running nearly $40 million in drugs and weapons in just the Wineland Park neighborhood. But we also have the commander of the police department, and professors from Ohio State University, and the head of the Community Crime Patrol. And when folks like that come together, I have confidence that the work that United Way creates is good, solid work. Here are some of the things that United Way is doing, and a lot of this is new work for us. This is just the work that supports our Building Vibrant Neighborhoods area, or what we refer to as home. Some of those things include our 2 community results. We want people to live in safe and decent housing. We want people to live in safe neighborhoods. And in each of those community results, we have 4 strategies that we are willing to invest United Way resources in, and many of them are new. For the first time ever, we will invest in the repair, modification, and rehabilitation of housing units. We will also invest in programs that educate homeowners so they can maintain their homes. The housing stock in Columbus is getting old, and we need homeowners to be able to spot a $500 repair before it becomes a $5,000 repair, and then they're not able to do that repair, and they could eventually lose their home. But we also need to strengthen neighborhood organizations. You cannot have a vibrant neighborhood if there aren't strong organizations at the grassroots level that are there to address community change. And we also have to be mindful of the physical appearance. We've been told by our volunteers, by developers, and by realtors that we can rehab houses all day long. And if we bring prospective buyers into a neighborhood and there's litter and graffiti and trash, or the broken windows theory, that those folks may not even get out of the car and take a look at that home. So we're mindful of that. Under safe neighborhoods, some of these things are things we've always been doing at United Way, such as reducing unruly and delinquent behavior of youth, prisoner reentry programs. We know there are certain neighborhoods in Columbus that have disproportionately are impacted by folks returning from the criminal justice system. We also know that civic engagement is important. United Way cannot be the police department, but what we can do to support that is make sure residents know one another. And our research shows that when folks know their neighbor, they're far more likely to get involved and be on the lookout for things going on in their community. And last but not least, safety education and crime prevention. That's everything from personal, property, and community. It's everything from rape prevention and how to defend yourself to how to defend your home, and proper lighting, fencing, and environmental design, to is there good lighting in the neighborhood? Can children walk to school or can they walk? There are a few things that I know to be true. One of those is we have a choice of what kind of city we want to be in the future. I know that we must save our neighborhoods. We have to save our neighborhoods if we want to save our city. It is this lesson that cities like Cleveland and Youngstown that I talked about earlier that learned far too late. I know that we have the resources in Columbus. I know that we have the intellectual talent. I also know that we have the right partners at the table, and I know that we have the know-how. The question is, do we have the will? And I think we do. I know that times are tough out there. It's probably the worst economic climate Columbus has seen in decades. But as famed urban planner and architect Daniel Burnham said nearly a century ago during the City Beautiful movement, make no little plans. They have no magic to stir people's blood. We have bold goals at United Way for our 5 priority neighborhoods, and I hope that you will join United Way in our neighborhoods.